Police thought they were responding to a double homicide. What they found instead were two brand-new trash cans lying in the middle of a quiet apartment. Inside them were a mother and her disabled daughter. The man who called 911 claimed someone else did it. But every receipt, every camera, and every step inside that apartment told a different story. This wasn't a crime of anger. It was planned weeks in advance, by the person they trusted most. At 6:02 p.m., the emergency dispatcher thought the call was a prank. The man on the line sounded calm, too calm. "My wife and my daughter are dead," he said, his voice thin and distant, like it was traveling through water. "Someone killed them." There was a pause. Then confusion. He couldn't explain how long they'd been dead. He couldn't clearly explain how they were injured. Yet he was certain of one thing: they had been meant to disappear. "Garbage cans," he muttered. "They tried to take them away." When police arrived at the quiet apartment complex in Anglewood, Colorado, nothing looked wrong. No broken doors. No screams. No neighbors rushing outside. Inside the apartment, two brand-new trash bins lay on their sides. The officers stopped breathing for a moment. This wasn't a crime of rage. This was something planned. And the man who made the call was standing right there. The smell hit first. Not rot. Something sharper. Metallic. Wrong. Police slowly approached the overturned trash bins, one near the front door, the other closer to the couch. The plastic was spotless, untouched by dirt or wear. Too clean to belong there. When the lid was lifted, the room went silent. Inside the first bin was the body of a woman, folded unnaturally, her injuries impossible to count at a glance. In the second bin was her daughter, what was left of her. Parts had been removed, forced to fit where they never should have. Blood soaked the sofa, smeared across pillows, yet the rest of the apartment looked oddly normal. The sinks were clean. The bathtub rinsed. Someone had tried to erase what happened. An axe leaned casually inside a nearby closet. A saw rested in plain sight. This wasn't chaos. This was cleanup. And suddenly, the husband's story didn't add up. Neighbors described the McLaren family the same way: quiet, polite, forgettable. The kind of people you nodded at but never really knew. That's why one small detail stood out. Earlier that week, Reginald told a neighbor he was moving out. Not they. He was leaving. Overseas, he said. Soon. But on the morning of the murders, no boxes were carried out. No furniture moved. Just Reginald walking in and out of the building, empty-handed, locking his door each time. One neighbor saw him leave around 3:55 p.m. He walked to his car, unlocked it, then returned minutes later. No bags. No explanation. Police did the math. The violence inside the apartment, brutal, prolonged, followed by cleanup, couldn't have happened in the short window he claimed to be gone. Then they found his car. The back seats were pushed flat, prepared to carry something large. The question wasn't who anymore. It was when he decided to do it. The trash cans weren't random. Up close, officers noticed what didn't belong. No scratches, no dirt, no dents. They were new. Too new to have come from the apartment complex. Receipts led investigators to a Home Depot just miles away. The purchase date stopped them cold. March 9th, more than 2 weeks before the murders. Security footage showed Reginald calmly selecting the two largest trash bins he could find. No rush. No panic. He moved like a man following a list. From there, he walked to the tool aisle and picked up a handsaw. At the register, he chatted casually with the cashier. No trembling hands. No visible distress. Just an elderly man shopping. Later, police would discover an axe bought at another store and unused gas canisters stored away. Pieces of a plan that had been waiting patiently. This wasn't desperation in a moment of fear. It was preparation. And it had been happening quietly, right in front of everyone. Reginald had told police something strange during the 911 call. "My daughter's purse is empty," he said. "Their IDs are gone." At the time, it sounded like robbery. But police weren't convinced. While searching the building's dumpsters, officers began tearing open garbage bags one by one. Buried beneath household trash, they found shredded plastic, pieces of a social security card, fragments of a Colorado ID. The names matched the victims. Someone hadn't stolen their identities. Someone had destroyed them. Security footage showed Reginald leaving the apartment earlier that day, carrying small items in his hand. Not boxes. Not clothes. Evidence. He had cut the IDs apart, scattered them across dumpsters, and planted the idea of an outside suspect. Gang members. Nephews. Anyone but himself. The story he told police wasn't collapsing anymore. It was unraveling. Because now investigators knew something terrifying. He wasn't just trying to hide what he'd done. He was trying to rewrite the reason. 3 hours after the call, detectives found Reginald McLaren in a hospital bed. Monitors beeped softly around him. He looked small, fragile, nothing like the monster described by the evidence. At first, he repeated the same story: nephews, gangs, chaos he couldn't control. Then the detectives stopped asking questions. They started stating facts. The receipts, the cameras, the trash cans bought weeks earlier, the saw, the axe, the shredded IDs. Reginald's shoulders sagged. He stared at the ceiling and whispered that he had been fired. No income. Eviction notices coming. He said he'd seen too many people die on the streets, broken and forgotten. I couldn't let that be them, he said. So, in his mind, he made a decision. He told them his wife and daughter were sitting on the couch when he struck them. Again and again. Until there was no doubt. He said they were better off now. He showed no regret. Only relief. Once he started talking, Reginald didn't stop. He explained how he waited until the apartment was quiet. His wife and daughter sat on the couch, unaware. He lifted the axe and brought it down with enough force to knock them unconscious. Then he kept going. Autopsy reports would later confirm what his words barely conveyed. Multiple blows, delivered with certainty, not hesitation. When their bodies wouldn't fit inside the trash cans, he used the saw. Slowly, methodically, not in rage, but with purpose. Even then, the bins became too heavy to move. That was the failure he hadn't planned for. The bodies stayed. He washed the sinks, rinsed the tub, hid the tools. Then he sat alone in the apartment, chest tightening, pain shooting down his arm. He collapsed. Hours later, he called 911 and pretended to discover what he already knew. The plan didn't fall apart because of guilt. It fell apart because he couldn't carry it. In June 2024, Reginald McLaren sat quietly in a courtroom as the details of his planning were laid bare. The receipts, the surveillance footage, the weeks of preparation that erased any claim of confusion or mercy. His defense argued his mind was broken by fear, that he truly believed homelessness was inevitable. But the evidence told a colder story. The family had savings, insurance, time. This had not been necessary. The jury needed little deliberation. Guilty on all counts. On July 10, 2024, Reginald was sentenced to 2 consecutive life terms without parole. He would never leave prison. There was no dramatic outburst. No final apology. Just silence. Detectives later admitted they searched for meaning and found none. Love didn't explain it. Fear didn't justify it. 2 lives were taken by the person meant to protect them. And the question left behind wasn't how he did it. It was why he ever thought he should.